Welcome to the Mortgage Life podcast. Today is what day, Minnie?
Well, it's rate announcement day, and it's also the day that Pete is recording in the sunshine.
Indeed, family vacation.
Yes, I know. It's you guys are lucky to have to get away for the sunshine, and I'm still sort of stuck here. Mind you, it is sunny in Victoria as well, but I'm not wearing shorts. So you've landed on the Mortgage Life podcast, where we strive to bring you mortgage related info that's easy to understand.
We have conversations with market experts to bring you timely updates because there's one certainty in this industry: things change.
I'm Mindy Bodwin.
And I'm Pete Solomosi. Welcome to the Mortgage Life Podcast.
Here we are. We're producing a very cool episode today because today is Bank of Canada announcement day. So, Mindy, tell us what happened. It's March. Sorry, no, it's April. Let's get past March. It's April 16th. So this is third reading of the year. What happened?
Yeah, so nothing really. The Bank of Canada did nothing. It kept its key policy rate where it was last month. When you look back, actually, since June of 2024, there have been 7 consecutive rate cuts. The Bank of Canada's key policy rate was dropped by 2.25, and now we're just going. They're putting things on pause. So why would they do that? I mean, clearly there's a lot going on. I mean, all you have to do is turn the news on every night. So
Yeah,
why would they just stop with the rate cuts?
exactly. So the whole reason behind the pause is because we have a mega amount of uncertainty. We have, and this is really what the Bank of Canada was talking about today in their announcement. There is just so much uncertainty. They talked about global politics, they talked about tariffs, they talked about a lot of uncertainty in terms of inflation and growth of the Canadian economy and the world economies. Talked about the fact that our exchange rate might be moving around. The US dollar is weakened, the Canadian dollar is strengthened, but who knows how long that's going to stay. So, really, the big word of the day is uncertainty.
Yeah, so lots of uncertainty. We know that. So, there used to be uncertainty too. You would think, for example, with COVID or when all the inflationary pressures were happening. But in this case, it is like a roller coaster ride with what's happening, for example, with tariffs or announcements across the border. So instead of doing their sort of long term economic forecasts, the Bank of Canada has literally stopped doing that, and they are more in pivot reactionary mode. So they've said there are basically 2 broad pathways that the economy can take.
Right. So, one of the pathways they talked about was essentially one where we're kind of going along the path that we are now. So, some of the tariffs may have affected things, but they're not going to affect things too much. And CPI inflation is not going to move around too much. And in that scenario where we don't have too much of an effect, the Bank of Canada will maintain their path. So that potentially means more rate cuts coming this year if the economy continues to weaken, which is what it's doing right now. So that's kind of the first path, which is, again, we don't really know how likely it's going to be. It could be likely, it could be not. But the second path is a little bit more ominous, which is what, Mindy?
So the second path is the global trade war. Let's just put it out there. So would effectively become that black swan event that people could say could potentially happen. And so in that case, you could see some significant economic hardships, pretty significant recession. Again, it's not certain this is going to happen. This is just kind of the worst case scenario. So in that case, inflation could spike. So again, we could start seeing the anti-inflationary measures, which were rate increases, right? So you just never know. So this is why the Bank of Canada is like, we're just taking a pause. We're not doing anything right now. We're watching. For all we know, tariffs could be gone in a month. So that's where we're at.
Exactly. So one of two scenarios, but the reality is that they're just uncertain. So the Bank of Canada at this point is saying, we're just going to leave it as is and see how things roll out day by day, week by week. Their next policy announcement is June 4th. So we basically have about another month and a half until the next announcement. And many, many things could happen between now and then. So let's stay tuned. We're going to keep all of our listeners attuned to anything that happens. We will definitely do another announcement and another podcast on June 4th. And in the meantime, if you ever want to get any sort of information, get a hold of us. You can get us through the app, through all the podcasting platforms, and connect with us. And we can keep you in touch, and we can run through scenarios with you. Like, what do things look like if you go fixed or variable? These are all very good questions to ask right now.
Yep, absolutely. Just don't ask us for a crystal ball.
Yes,
We don't have one of those.
we definitely don't have.
We can do our best, though. Yeah,
That's
somehow
right.
we've managed this long, right? So
Exactly.
I'm not surprised. I kind of felt like it's a good time to kind of, take a pause and reassess. So that's all this is. It's just a pause.
Yeah, and that's it, right? It's going to be an information gathering time, seeing what things happen in the world and how it affects everything. And at that point, we recalculate. The Bank of Canada is going to look at those numbers and say, where do we want to go? And then we just keep on going on the ride.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and come
All
back
right.
and listen. This is The Mortgage Life.
We look forward to continuing the conversation.
So come back and listen.